Welcome to video 1 of the 4 video series of the training camp, and I'm really excited that you decided to join me, and we're going to go ahead and scale your agency to become one of the top 5% in your company. Alright, so the first thing we got to look at is, to really understand this whole thing is, let's look at the top 5% now. What do they do to become a 5% agency? And how do they get there? Now, after talking to thousands and thousands of agents and being in the industry for 10 plus years and just learning as much as I could, I've really narrowed it down to 3 ways I have found agencies become that top 5% producing agent. And so that's the first thing I want to take a look at with you. And I got them here as hopefully you can see. So the top 3 ways I found that agencies achieve that 5%. Number 1 is the big bank accounts. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of agents that they come from maybe a prior business or have a lot of capital when they start up. So what they're doing is they go out and they can spend 25, 30 grand a month between staff, leads, marketing, whatever it may be, maybe create even little mini call centers. These are the agents you see out there when all of a sudden in their first month they're hitting 400 or 500 items. And it's not just because they have some amazing sales ability or system that we are all unaware of. It's basically if you have a big bank account, you can do those types of things. And if you do, then we can learn about leveraging that the right way. I'm assuming most of you don't have that kind of capital in your bank account right now, as I never did. And it's tough for us to spend 30 grand a month on internet leads, when you're just barely making payroll. So that's the first thing that I noticed. The second is a lot of what I see people doing, and that's grinding 60 to 70 hours a week. And what they're doing in that 60, 70 hours, it's a lot of cold calling, follow-up, and just trying to figure out, it seems month after month, different processes that are going to make this thing work. It can work for a little while, but if any of you have been through that as I was, that 60 to 70 hour week grind can only last you so long. What happens after a while, you get tired, you get frustrated, you get exhausted, and you're ready just to give up. You don't have anything else to give. As human beings, we need to have some rest, relaxation time. We can only go for so long on that before we become irritable and discontent. And that's unfortunately what happens is when agents do that 60, 70 hour a week grind, they'll hit really high and hard at the first few months, and then all of a sudden there's a huge drop because they just physically and, more importantly, mentally can't do it anymore. Those are the top two agencies I see running, getting that 5%. The last one, and the one we're going to focus on, is agencies that have developed automated processes that actually work. All right, and this is what I had to find out the hard way. The most successful agents, as far as if they don't have a big bank account, if they don't want to work the 70 hours a week, they've done this. Now, unfortunately, out of that top 5%, if you take that 5% as a whole, maybe 1% of them are that agent. Okay, a majority of them that sustain the 5% have the big bank accounts, and then the other bit is the ones that are grinding and they eventually wear out and they fade out of the picture. So I want to really work on developing these automated processes with you, okay? Now, a couple things I also want to address, because we can get sucked into it really easy, are the common excuses we tend to find. With insurance agents, I found that we love excuses. I know I did. There's a reason that's not me that I'm not hitting these numbers. Okay, and the most popular one I hear day in and day out, and you probably said it to yourself, I know I did, is you're held by company restrictions, right? So your company's just taking a big rate increase, as a couple of them are and have been, or maybe for some reason competition or qualifying. Okay, so you can't qualify prospects, or the underwriting guidelines are just absolutely too hard to qualify most people. All right, that's a huge excuse. Another excuse is that competition, not just competition with other insurance companies, but with your own company itself. If you go a lot of the times with an Allstate, a State Farm, a Nationwide, you're going to see in a 5-mile radius about 10 different agents. All right, so oversaturation of market becomes a big excuse for us. All right, maybe your location, maybe that's something. And it's funny because I hear that no matter if someone's in a rural location or in a city. If it's rural, we don't have the population to hit the numbers. If it's in the city, it goes back to a competition thing, right? And then lastly, which we talked about a little bit, is I don't have the money for the staff. I don't have the money for the marketing. All right, and those excuses, are just that. They're excuses and they're myths. And if you're believing them to yourselves, I need you to stop believing that. In fact, if I can't get you past that point, you can't move on with this training camp, because the fact of the matter is the excuses are going to hold you back. And there's a lot of agents that have hit that 5% mark doing this number 3 of developing automated processes that understand that those excuses are what held them back. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to just get rid of those excuses right now. And you have to realize, if you're not somebody with a big bank account and your desire is not to either start working 60, 70 hours a week or keep working 60, 70 hours a week, I need you to commit to helping develop these automatic processes. And that's really what this training camp is going to focus on. In the next training video, what we're going to do is we're going to start laying the foundation, okay, of how we're going to start developing these automated processes. What I'm going to do for you is I'm actually going to give you free templates. It's going to be on the next video. It's going to be linked there. You're going to have free templates. You're going to have some stuff that's really concrete, black and white, that honestly you don't have to wait till the whole series is done to start implementing some of these things. All right, I'm just going to give them to you. But the biggest thing I want you to take out of this video is what we just talked about. Why people are 5% agents, and the excuses that we just talked about that hold people back from being that 5%. You got to get past those. So let me give you some homework. What's your excuse? All right, I know for me, I like to use the excuse, 2 of them actually. My biggest one was my company was holding me back because of the rates and their underwriting guidelines. And 2, the competition, because I looked around and I saw 4 or 5 different agents within 2 miles of me with the same carrier. All right, and I had to get past those excuses before I could move on. So I seriously, I need you to do that. The reason I'm not putting more on this video is I got to get you past this point. So write down, even if your excuses aren't ones that we talked about just now, I need you to write down your top 2 or 3 excuses that you feel have been holding you back. And maybe it's your staff. Maybe it is the processes, and you already know that. You need to write those on paper. So you can get those on paper, and you can join me on the next video with those. And you need to get over those excuses now. And I don't even need you to rationalize it in your mind. I just need you to understand that we have to move past it. Okay, so be looking out for video number 2 on this 4 video series of the training camp, and that's when we're going to actually start building the foundation of your processes. I'm going to give you those templates, and I'm going to give you really the insider info on how we're going to change your agency for the better. All right, and like I said, this is not about a one-trick pony. This is not about a one product, a one system thing that I'm going to teach you. It's about covering all aspects of your agency so that you can be hitting on all cylinders. All right, guys, so do that homework for me. Write down your excuses. If you have to, what I love to do when you write down your excuses, you can rip them up, you can burn them, or you can take them with you on the next video, and we can smash them together. Okay, I'll write down some of my excuses I had too, and maybe we'll rip them up together for you. So other than that, I hope you make it a great day. I hope this video taught you something about a mindset that you have to have going into the training camp and getting to that 5%. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.